Writing essays is a big part of the academic, but also the professional world. But producing well-structured, thoughtful, and even original text is not that easy. Well, LLMs seem to have made this intellectual effort way easier and accessible. Or so it seems. Because to be honest, you cannot rely on the generic, uninteresting output that the LLM gives you by default. You have to give it instructions and insight so to ensure a quality result. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you my 5-step prompting framework to ensure you get the most insightful and relevant essay for your writing project. Ready? Let's go. Before giving you my own prompts, I wanted to talk to you about the AI you can use to create a quality essay. Because you might be wondering if there's any LLMs that are better than the others to generate an essay. And actually, to be honest, it's more or less the same. As you can see from the text arena, the differences are not that big anymore in terms of text quality between all the latest LLM models. So if you use like Gemini 2.5, latest Gemini, or the latest ChatGPT or a free reasoning model, if you use DeepSeek, or if you use the latest Grok version, it's kind of the same in terms of text quality. You'll get a bit of improvement, for example, Gemini 2.5 Pro and O3, but it's not that big. But if you really want to ensure you get the best quality result, especially if you want to generate an essay, which is really a lot of reasoning and a lot of structure that has to be really well nailed, well, I think you should today use the reasoning models. And especially you can use the research models, especially the one from Gemini, Perplexity, and GPT. Myself, I'm a big fan of ChatGPT Deep Research feature, which is really good to do a very thoughtful, in-depth essay about any topic. But the Gemini version is also quite good, and the Notebook LLM features and tooling. Perplexity is also a good alternative, and they both have a really default research version, which is really good. The only thing here with this deep research feature is that you don't get a lot of customization and control in the output. You just get by default a very detailed and structured research paper in a way, and you won't be able to really customize it in your own way or style. So here I'm gonna give you my prompts that you can apply with Gemini, ChatGPT, O3, Perplexity. I'm gonna show you here how it works, and you'll see you get really the best balance between the quality of the result and the control you can have on the same result. Prompting template number 1, defining the persona of your essay writer. As you might have already experienced it already, when you give an instruction, a random instruction to LLM, you will get by default a very generic and not very best quality result from your LLM. It will be usually quite uninspiring and not very unique and refreshing. Also, your LLM won't usually nail the specific format that you want it to produce if you don't give it like very specific instruction and guideline so that it really can do it perfectly. And the best way to give it instructions is to make it play a very specific persona, so that it can get really into the skin of this persona and really be able to get closer to the result you really want. And that's what the prompt here is all about for your essay writing. So as you can see, you can copy paste this prompt in this article that I'm gonna share with you under the video. You can also save it and copy paste it in the Intellectual Lead app. So yeah, this prompt will define what will be the role of your LLM when you want it to write an essay. So you will tell it about your very specific niche topic. You will give it information about your audience, the one that you want to write to. You will also maybe give it some details about the tone and the style that you want it to have. And with all of that, you get a very more specific output. So I have already the prompt saved on the intellectual extension. So I just have to click on one button. So it's here, and I just click here and I can apply it. So we'll just say okay, because that's what I tell it to do. So I just save the information I give it, and you can use it later. Second prompting template, giving it style guidelines. What if you could make ChatGPT write just like you? Well, it's actually kind of possible. You just have to ask it to do it. For example, here I'm giving my AI a lot of instruction and details about the tone and style I'm expecting from it. I'm telling it to follow with a conclusion, with a section which will transition seamlessly. Of course, also some more details about the conciseness, the clarity I want to have. Also, a lot of relevant data, insights inside the text, So really, I really try to give my expectation of quality to the AI. So that's one really customized for an essay writing, really tries to fit the standards you can have, academic or professional standards in terms of essay. You can customize it as you want, but we're gonna use this one here. So I'm just gonna apply it. But that's not the end of the story here, because you really want to be more than just explicit here. The best way is to give it an example or sample of the essay you're expecting from it. So here I used an extract of an essay I found. I'm gonna give it to him and I'm gonna tell him to imitate it so that we're together on the same page. So here, prompting template number 3, providing the insight and the outline. So as I said, you cannot really rely on the generic default output you will get from an AI just by randomly asking it. You just get boring and uninspiring ideas. And also there could be hallucination if you have really a niche and expert subject and there's not a lot of information already on the internet. And so your LM will just come up with random ideas about your very specific subject. The best way to prevent that is to give it your own insights, idea, research about your very specific topic with your instructions. And here it's a very simple prompt. As you can see here, I'm asking it to draft an outline first about your topic, and with all your draft ideas and bullet points and stuff. You don't have to be fancy here on the ideas you're gonna give it or the structure. Just can put all your ideas randomly and you will understand them. So here I'm gonna draft an essay about the accuracy of AI detectors because it's a topic I really know. I did extensive research on it, so I can talk about it. And so I'm gonna give it here my outline, but also some insight I have already. So accuracy of AI detectors. So maybe a first section about how AI detectors work, then maybe a second section about if they are really that accurate enough to detect AI content, because it's a real question. Then a third section about the biases that are in this AI detectors. I'm also going to talk about the adversarial attacks against AI detectors, so some strategies to bypass AI detectors that people should know about. And I'm going to end with a fifth section about the comparison of the best AI detector out there. And so there's something here, and I'm just going to copy paste some ideas I already have on each section. Okay, when I have all this outline, I can even, if my outline is not that complete, or if I want to add something, I can use the search feature, which is actually really good with GPT-4o and Gemini also, if you use Gemini. I can even use the deep research feature, but as I told you, you get a way more extensive and detailed report, and maybe you get lost in it. So if you really want to be straight to the point, it's also good to use just the search feature sometimes, especially with O3. If you use O3, it's quite good. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use O3. And as you can see here, you get a full essay outline with all the subsections that you customize and the ideas in there. So yeah, as you can see, very detailed. And also it has its own input that it found with his own research. So it makes a really detailed and extensive result. Prompting template number 4, the writing step by step. Okay, now it's time to really write. So now you have an outline that is detailed. And so now it's easy. You just have to generate section by section. And by doing it that way, it's also easier to adjust and to provide feedback along the way. And I just doesn't get lost or do anything weird along the way. So you're sure you get the best quality result all the way through. And for that, you can use multiple prompts. For the introduction specifically, I have also a very specific prompt for that you can use. So yeah, as you can see, it gave me introduction. Interesting, okay. So it gave me a hook about one experiment about AI detectors. That could get the reader quite directly into the piece, in the heart of the reasoning here. Reflection. I think it also quite nail the way you want to address the main issue on the AI detector accuracy, which is the question is not whether detectors exist, but whether they are trustworthy. Of course, that's the most important question, and I think it's quite a good point of view to start the essay here. So we're gonna see the rest with another prompt. So this one is quite easy. I'm just gonna tell to write section 1 of the essay, so you can give it also a specific number of words. I'm gonna tell it's 500 words so that you can do it very extensively. And as you can see, yeah, it's the first section also quite well and very detailed with a lot of example and references from other papers, like this one about watermarking. It's also quite straight to the point and very clear. So there's like As you can see, there's 4 examples of feature of signs that AI detectors rely on, which is called perplexity, the persiness. So that's the one I gave it to the AI so it doesn't get off the rail on this subject. Now, also it talks about watermarks, so that's something I didn't talk about, but he added it based on his own research. So yeah, it's already quite convincing as an essay, I have to say. And then to end your essay, you also, of course, want to write a good conclusion. And here you can use this prompt. So at the end, yeah, like the bottom line is detectors eliminate risk rather than deliver verdicts. Yeah, I think it's a good sum up of the subject. And so, yeah, people should treat them as expert assistants, not courtroom judges. Yeah, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, it can work. Yeah, human oversight still remains the ultimate safeguard. Yeah, the imagery is a bit too much here, but we get the point. Prompting template number 5, editing and humanizing. So yeah, actually, it's not really about prompting, but it's more about manual editing and refinement. ChatGPT can still have a lot of robotic patterns or repetition in its output, and you want sometimes to remove this so it doesn't look like AI too much. You might want to remove some things to humanize better the output. And I have to say, the only best way to do it is to do it by yourself, is to do manual editing. So you just go to Google Doc, you copy paste all your sections, and then you have to do your own manual work and editing. So usually one thing I will remove from this AI output is definitely like the repetition you get. So sometimes one AI will just repeat the same point over and over. You just want to remove sentences that don't advance the subject too much. For example, here I can remove already some sentences that don't do that much. So for example, this one I will remove it. You want also to add some variation in the output. You want to add some space, maybe some bullet points if that's something you want to add in your essay. You want to add sometimes some subsections or maybe remove them. You want to add more variation gel, and that's always good so it doesn't look too robotic. But I have to say with O3, you get less robotic output than just ChatGPT-4. I think especially the conclusion here is quite a good example of an output that is not that good. Like the conclusion is maybe a bit too long and there's way much imagery, especially the metaphor that AI use. You also want to remove some of them because sometimes it's just too much. For example, here, the bottom line sample. Yeah, so for example, here, I would just remove that. It's already too much metaphor. One conclusion is already firm, remains important. Yeah, here, for example, as way too much adjectives that are, yeah, I just say too much, like perplexity counters. What does that mean? Crude perplexity counters. It doesn't mean anything. So you just want to get straight to the point from basic analytic model, still probabilistic, certain 100%, lie detectors. Yeah, you want to sometimes the vocabulary to be way more concrete and expert. And yeah, you have to manually edit that. Okay, now that's it. You got now all the 5 prompting methods to ensure you get the most quality result, quality essay that really fit your expectations in your writing project. I'll let you use and experiment with these prompts, maybe customize them if you want to customize them. You can copy paste them from the article or just use the intellectual extension to make it faster. Otherwise, I hope you liked this video. And if you do, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to give a like to the video, or if you have any comment or question, to just put it under the video also. And otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.